You're watching the Video Revolution podcast from Primo Productions.
That hadn't been on television for 24 years. Did it come from here or here? Why, of course it came from here. 24 years ago, you didn't say there's going to be some nut up there by the name of Cabot Roberts going to ask me that question. Oh, no. Our mind is made up of little figments where we build up. We build it up right here. A rolling stone gathers no what? People, stitching time saves what? We were in Anchorage, Alaska the other night, and Merlin says, people in glass houses shouldn't throw what? Someone said, wild parties? Well, that's true, too. That's true, too. Well, my man, look, please learn these humaneering principles. These humaneering principles. I heard the other day about a guy who's in love with a girl. He wanted to marry, but he didn't have enough money. And he was offered a job about 500 miles away. And if he could take that job for 3 months, he'd save enough money to come back and marry her. But he didn't want to lose her. And someone told him about space repetition. Said, if you go over there and take that job and write her an air-mail special delivery letter every day proclaiming your undying love for her, the space repetition will take care of it. And it did. Who'd she marry? Right, the mailman. He works in all. And we wrote a little poem on these 6 principles that I commend to you. When you've lost your positive thinking and your courage starts to sinking and negative thoughts begin appearing, just go for that checker from the toes to the necker, because the answer lies in humaneering. Let's look to peopleizing. Forget your theorizing. It's people who are endearing. You're stubborn as a mule and just a plain fool if you don't resort to humaneering. Yes, it's the heart and not the mind that causes people to sign. It's the new concept you'll be a-hearing, not the fancy knowledge of the years you spent in college, but how well you master humaneering. So wipe away those tears. Join the humaneers. Then you'll have nothing to be a-fearing, because life will be exciting, your job more inviting. Please, 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 my friends, enter the magic world of humaneering. There's more undeclared dividend, more unrealized potential, more opportunity for greater service, and opportunity to make more of the good things in life in these 6 magic principles of human engineering that we call humaneering than anything that's ever come down the pipe. Okay, let's go to the 4th principle of human engineering. The 4th. All right. I'll just touch on this briefly. Do you know the difference between sympathy and empathy? I might be out, let's say George and I are out fishing. He says he's seasick. I say, I'm sorry, that's sympathy. But if I got green too, that would be empathy. Bill and I might be out hunting. He got a hole in his shoe. He said, the foot's cold. I'm sorry, that's sympathy. But if my foot got cold too, that would be empathy. I have a person that works for me who is so empathetic. He does not know it, but he stands in the shoes of the other person whenever he's talking. I heard him talking to a doctor the other day. They said, Doc, this will heal your financial worries. I heard him talking about a lawyer. He said, now here's a sure verdict in your favor. So help me God. We were in the garage the other day. This is how empathetic he was. He said, listen to this puncture-proof idea. We've heard it said so often that we just dismiss it as being an old cliche. Before I'm sure my prospect buys, I got to see the problem through my prospect's eyes. I guess if we had to give a definition of empathy, maybe this is it. I don't know. Empathy is developing that deep sensitivity through which we may suffer no tragedy, even die alone, but through which we experience the grandeurs of human life. It is found in identifying ourselves with the hopes, dreams, longings, and passions of others in order that we can stand in their shoes and see the problem from their point of view. You know, I don't want to preach to you in any way, but this is so true. These 6 principles of humaneering apply to every facet of your life, just as much to the relationship between a husband and wife, rearing your children, as anything else. We do not have one set of rules for our church, one for our home, one for our social life, and one for our business life. Truth as a whole and fragmentation and error. How I'd give anything in the world if I could live my life over again and rear my children knowing these 6 principles of humaneering. Bill, the next to my oldest kid, when he was a little kid, he was afraid of the dark. He'd scream bloody murder. What would I do? Was I empathetic? Did I see the problem from his point of view? You know what a stupid idiot I was? I wanted him to come over to my side. I said, be a big man. Well, he's not a big man. There's no way he can be a big man. He's a frightened little boy. Now he's worried about two things. Worried about the dark, worried because he's a big man. You know what a human ear would have said? I said, look, Bill, I know you're afraid of the dark. All little boys are afraid of the dark. Your daddy was afraid of the dark. Hey, as you grow up, you're going to laugh. Hey, let's laugh at it now. Went off to Princeton, 6'4", captain of his athletic team, president of his class, and so forth. But as a freshman, he'd call home and cry. He wanted to come home. He was homesick. What a colossally insane father I was. I didn't realize these principles. You know what I would say? Don't be a crybaby. You know what a human ear would have said? I'd have said, look, Bill, your mother and I'd feel pretty bad if we hadn't made your home so lovely. All boys who love their home are home. Your daddy was homesick. But look, fella, as you stay around Princeton, you can make new friends. Princeton's going to be like a new home. Not that you love your home any less. Listen, we love you, boy. Call when you're homesick. There's never been a problem you and your daddy couldn't lick. Hey, let's lick this one together. Oh, my friends, if you just entered this exciting world of human living, and about 9/10 of the people are trying to operate on only understanding the nuts and bolts, which contributes only about 15%. You know, I'm all for this great principle we have about self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, what the mind can conceive, the body can achieve. We become what we think about. Be careful of your dreams. Now, that's all fine. That's good. I'm all for them. But I hope you will, if you can master this fourth principle of human engineering, you will realize there's something even higher than that. We call it creative expectancy. From the days of old Emerson, we can never go up any higher than the faith other people have in us. Why don't we use it in our way? How often do you say, you deserve? Look, Mr. and Ms. Jones, you've had everybody on your payroll all of your life. Oh, you put your kids through school. Don't you think it's time you think of yourself a little bit? Creative expectancy. From the time a child is just umpteen high, we use it, but why we don't use it in our business? Look, I know mother isn't going to be disappointed in you. You're not going to play in the street. Teenager goes out for her first date. I know you're not going to disappoint me. You'll be in by 11 o'clock. I was talking to one of very close to old Vince Lombardi, several of his teammates, and they say this about Vince. Now, I don't want to call it a controversy, but I don't believe he ever said winning is everything. His boy said he didn't say that, but he got a lot of wonderful publicity on it. I had one of them tell me not long ago that in the most important game of their lives, their whole career, old Vince got them all together, put his arm around him, had tears in his eyes. He says, boys, I know I kick you around, but frankly, I love you. I love every one of you. And I want to say this to you. I have never seen you devote yourself so sincerely to prepare yourself for this game. You're ready, and I know you can win it. He said they went out of there with tears in their eyes. They couldn't lose. They were not going to do it. Creative expectancy. Right. I was in a big utility company one time. I was on the board, and I remember the president called a guy in and said, hey, we're proud of you, Bill. You've taken this department and lifted it up. It's now in the black. I know you can do it for the whole company. We're going to make you executive vice president. This guy would have died before he would have disappointed those people. If there's a spark of divinity, a fragment of eternity, a gamble of immortality, it's causing people to grow because of the faith we have in them. Oh, my friends, please enter this exciting world of human error. I don't know how many of you knew of old Francis Gable. He told me one time that 3 years ago he went through Grand Central Station. And as he was going along, there was a guy in squalor and filth begging. He took a quarter and threw it in a hat and went on. Then he said he stopped. He said, I don't know why I stopped. I went back and I said, hey, friend, I owe you an apology. Look, you're not a beggar. You're a merchant. You're an important cog in society. Hey, I paid for that pencil. Give it to me. Hey, that's a pretty good-looking pencil. Started walking. He went back again and said, don't you forget, you're a merchant. He said, I didn't think any more of it. Don't know why I did it. He said, 3 years later, I was going through Grand Central Station, and I went up to buy a paper. The guy said, hey, I know you. I don't expect you to know me. But 3 years ago, I was over there in squalor and filth begging. You're the first guy who ever told me that I was important. You told me I was a merchant. You know, I couldn't sleep that night. And I started thinking, why can't I be a merchant? So I started saving my money. The first year, I went hungry more days than I didn't. Last week, I opened up this stand. I've got candy, cigars, cigarettes. Hey, thanks to you, I am a merchant. Here, be my guest. Have a paper. Aaron, please try to enter this great world of human erring. Let's take this third and this fourth. Take them to heart. Take them to heart. I say from the bottom of my heart, if you can master these 6 principles of human erring, you will awaken from a life of quiet desperation. Remember, and you will find that you can release the imprisoned splendor within yourself, and you can rise from mediocrity to that incredible degree of excellence which is found in these 6 great principles of human erring. God bless you. Thank you for this opportunity.